Welcome back to the dojo, y'all. Welcome back to the daily discussions. I'm your host, Professor Hawk Sensei, and I'm glad you could join me. I'm glad you're tuning in. The topic of discussion for today: it is not good for man to be alone. This is something that the Bible teaches us. It's not good for man to be alone. So when they say it's not good for man to be alone, they're not talking about just man per se. They're talking about mankind, so women as well, right? The reason why I want to talk about this particular subject today is because it's true. It really is true. It is not good for human beings to be outcast or to not have anyone to relate to. It don't necessarily mean romantic partnerships or anything like that, but you need to have some type of a companion, somebody or something to interact with. You know what I mean? What I understand about life is the only time we as human beings truly feel alive is when we connect with something or someone else. That could even be an animal, a dog or something, a companion of sorts. It's good to have some type of company, right? Now let's go into the subject, right? I honestly believe God tells us this because being left alone with your thoughts can be dangerous when you don't have anybody to challenge you, when you don't have anybody to bring you back to reality, when you don't have anybody to reason with you, when your thoughts may become outlandish or, you need to have other people around you to keep your tether of reality. If you've seen the movie Castaway, that's a perfect example of what can happen to someone who doesn't have any human interaction for an extended period of time. This particular person you may think is crazy. This movie Castaway was about I can't remember. He was a mail carrier or something like that. There was a flight going across seas, and the plane went down or something like that, and he got stranded on an island for I think like 5 years. And this man made a companion with a Wilson volleyball or something, I think it was, because he needed some type of human interaction. You'll literally go insane if you don't have anyone to interact with. You've ever seen homeless people? 9 times out of 10, those people are lonely outcasts, and they don't have anybody to talk to. Everybody treats them like shit. Everybody walks right past them. They ignore them, stuff like that. So those people end up like that because they don't have any positive human interaction. You know what I mean? That's usually how that happens. They might have been outcast by their family. Maybe they got scammed. Their whole life savings is gone. Any number of reasons why somebody could be up on the street. But when we go into the subject of why it's not good for us to be alone, when you feel like you're alone, you feel like the world is against you. I want to highlight the tragedy that was Columbine, and also the tragedy that was Elliot Rodger. Right? The Elliot Rodger story happened because this man wanted to be intimate with women, but he felt like he never had a chance or he never got an opportunity or what have you. But when I look into his story, he was more so a narcissistic, psychopathic individual. And you can get like that when you don't have other people there to interact with. I'm not well versed in the story of Columbine, but what I remember about that story was those guys that did the act were social outcasts. You know what I mean? they weren't accepted by the mass majority of their peers. You know what I mean? People didn't like them. They were nerds or whatever it was. Whatever it was. They weren't popular kids. More than likely, they probably weren't getting laid. Right? That's another reason why it's not good for us to be alone. And with the way things are going nowadays, it seems like there's going to be a loneliness epidemic, not just on the male side, but also the female side. Yeah, they can have sex and all that, but they won't ever really have any true companionship because their past is so checkered. And it's not hard to do a little homework to find out where you've been. All your information is online nowadays anyway. Feel me? Looks like there's a little bit of a glare. I'm turning. You know what I mean? So when I bring this discussion to you guys about it's not good for us to be alone, I want you to value and cherish the relationships that you have in your life. I want you to value and cherish. God damn it, I'm trying to get that glare out of there. The fucking glare is bothering me. I guess I just stand in front of it. Yeah, so like I was saying, I want you to value and cherish the relationships that you do have. Don't burn your bridges. Try to maintain them at the very least. Because not having other people to talk to, not having other people to relate to, hang out with, it can destroy you mentally. It really can. You look at the animal kingdom. Most animals and insects, they travel and eat and live together in packs. You know what I mean? There's strength in numbers. Like, for example, a school of fish. These tiny little fish, they all swim together to give the illusion that they're a big giant fish or shark or a predator or something. You know what I mean? It increases their odds of survival when they all swim together. Even if they're not perceived as a predator, just the sheer number of fish in a group increases the odds of more fish surviving, as opposed to they were just getting picked off one by one in the wild. So that behavior, that philosophy, it also rings true in our lives, in our civilization. It's not good for us to be alone, because when we're alone, the world, the system, will eat us alive. You know what I mean? It seems like the world is beginning to rip apart the fabrics of community and family. So we're being led and conditioned to being alone. Like, we're in the age of the self, where everything is centered around self. I even made a couple videos about, focus on you, and you gotta make sure you good and all that. This world conditions you to be like that. As human beings, we really do want community and camaraderie and brotherhood, sisterhood. We want these things. But the way that this world is, it's hard to trust people. It's very hard to trust people. You know what I mean? But for the few people that you can trust, or the few people that you do trust, you know what I mean? Hold on to those people. Hold on to your really good friends. Because this world is turning a lot of people very, very cold. It said the love of many will wax cold. We're starting to see people taking on psychotic and psychopathic behaviors because of the world that we live in. We're constantly being inundated with wickedness. From the symbolism we see in music videos and in movies and stuff, all the way down to like the agendas that are being pushed to make us think and act in certain ways. Like we're literally being conditioned to be alone. It's becoming more and more difficult for any one man, let alone woman, to have enough resources to own a home. Like nowadays, you have to be wealthy to acquire a home. That's where we're at now. So how can you build and establish a family if you don't even have a home to raise these children? When you really look at this grand design and everything that's going on and the way that things are, you can clearly see that there is a concentrated effort to make people be more and more alone. These dating apps, they don't help us establish bonds with one another. Most people get on there because they want to get laid. You know what I mean? Others get on there because they want attention and validation. It don't really help the dating market, especially when the algorithm is skewed so that the app makes money. It's not about getting you to connect with somebody, because if you did that, you close and delete the app. No, they want to keep you on there. They want to keep you in a state of hunger, in a state of yearning, so that you constantly spend time on there and you invest money in subscriptions and all that. All that. This world is making a benefit off of ripping our relationships apart at the seams. That's another reason why I want to bring this to your attention. Hold on to the relationships that you have. You don't know how valuable anybody truly is because you don't know what they know. There are people out here who know things about hunting and survival and fishing, which are skills that we will need. We will need these skills if civilization as we know it collapses. Because the way things just don't look good right now. I'm not trying to be a doom and gloom guy. But what I'm saying is partner up, buddy up, man. Click up. Get with your peoples right now. Get with your peoples, whoever they are. Our relationships are being strained to the extreme because finances are so out of whack. The cost of living is taking a toll on everybody. And then once the poor and the middle class is wiped out, then the rich are just going to eat one another. This system is cannibalizing us. And the more divided we are, the more of us will fall by the wayside. That's another reason why I'm bringing this to your attention. Value the relationships that you have. Value the people that you can actually trust. Because it truly is not good for us to be alone. We can find ourselves in situations and predicaments because we don't have support. We don't have guidance. We don't have any friends to help us realize when we're making a mistake or we're doing too much or going overboard. You know what I mean? That's one thing I realized about the friends that I have. They keep me grounded in reality. Because when I like to get up in my head, I really start thinking and I go deep. I end up in another realm somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, having friends is a good way to stay grounded in reality. Especially as this world is becoming more and more insane, more and more crazy, more and more twisted and wicked. It's good to have like-minded people around you. And also, taking it just a little bit further, we're going to talk about an echo chamber. An echo chamber, right? An echo chamber, without knowing the exact definition, right? It's more or less when you're in a position or a situation where you're biased, or you're in a group of people who are biased to different beliefs or information. So you look at, for an example, you look at Democrat versus Republican, left versus right. These people are opposed to anything the other side has to say, and it's all rooted in tribalism. Tribalism. So even though these people, you know what I mean, their philosophy or their outlook on things may be misinformed or misguided, they at least have a group to where their ideas and their beliefs is supported by others. It's a consensus reality. We all believe this. And because we all believe this, we reinforce the beliefs that we all have. We don't accept outside influences and blah, blah, blah. When you're in an echo chamber, it's no different than being alone. It's no different. You'll never gain any more insight than what's there. Because those type of people, they only see things one way. There's no other perspective to be considered. And again, that is like being alone. Even though you have a multitude of people around you who completely agree with everything that you do, your growth as a person will be stunted because you don't have any other challenges. You have no room for growth. There's no room for change. You refuse to see or even hear other insights. That's a big part of growing as a human being, being able to see it from more than just your perspective. You know what I mean? Being able to see it from other angles, right? It gives you the strength and the wherewithal to move in a more efficient manner in life, right? When you know more, you do more. No, when you know better, you do better. That's how it goes. When you know better, you do better. And a lot of times, we improve by interacting through others. We learn through others. Most of the things that we learn them through a teacher, or we're learning them through our parents, or we're learning them through our peers, or we're learning it through a book that someone wrote, or we're learning it through a YouTube video that somebody made. Most of the things that we learn, they come from the contributions of other people. So that's another reason why it's not good to be alone. You can't grow and advance if you don't have other people challenging you and contending and competing with you. Friendly competition is good. Friendly competition definitely is good. Alright? So, before I wrap it up, I want to just, rehash the idea of it's not good to be alone. Because most of the ways that the Most High will reach us and teach us is through other people. So never forsake the relationships that you have, because you never know what you can learn from these people and these persons and these situations, even these trials and tribulations. You know what I mean? There's always room for improvement. There's always more to learn and more to understand. And the more we live life, the more we learn. The more people we interact with, the more we better understand human beings and ultimately ourselves. That's why it's not good to be alone. Because you forsake a lot of life experiences in solitude. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with solitude, but in your solitude, at least have people you can reach out to and talk to, maybe text a little bit. You know what I mean? It's always good to have other people to interact with outside of your mind, so you know that you're not going crazy. It's like, man, I could have sworn, like, yo, you saw that too? Yeah, man, yeah. Like, man, thank you. I thought I was tripping. I thought I was losing my mind. Like, nah, bro, I saw the same thing. You right. You daggone right. I seen it too. You know what I mean? So that just that interaction alone is like what I was saying earlier. Having interactions with others is what keeps you grounded to reality. You know what I mean? When you lose sense of reality, you lose sense of self, and you just do whatever comes to your mind. It's no more thinking. You're just pure subconscious action. You know what I mean? Pure sub. No thinking. Just you know what I mean? Whatever you see, whatever you feel, whatever thoughts and fantasies cross your mind, you just write. You just all the way in it, all the way, right? But I hope that you liked this video. So, and if you did, go ahead and leave a like. I hope that you can share this video because there's other people who could use this information and use this knowledge. And last but not least, I hope that you will subscribe because you came back too many times not to push that button. Most of the people who watch my content aren't even subscribed. So, good luck, charm out. Give me a little bit of love, man. Like a little bit, share a little bit, and subscribe. Professor Hawk signing out. Hawk Sensei, bid you adieu. Till next time, guys. Class is dismissed.